Now and again, mistakes are made by all of us. After making a mistake, one is typically encouraged to learn from your mistakes. However, certain errors can be revealed to be quite costly, costing perhaps billions of dollars, or even worse, putting lives in danger. Even a small error can have disastrous results in the domains of architecture and construction. Let's take a look at 6 of the most costly building blunders ever committed. Before we go into it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel to get more amazing content. Let's get into it. Number 6. Lotus Riverside Disaster. Shanghai's Lotus Riverside is a housing development. One of the 13-story buildings collapsed in 2009, avoiding neighboring buildings that might have set off a domino effect. Even though most individuals were able to leave in time, the fall that morning claimed the life of one construction worker. Poor foundations and construction standards violations were discovered to be the cause of the collapse, and the developers were accused of forsaking quality for faster payments. The developers might have lost up to $30 million in building costs and compensation to homeowners. Number 5. Changshu Bridge Collapse. 31 individuals lost their lives when the central portion of Seoul's Changshu Bridge collapsed into the Han River in 1994. The bridge was built to support a load of 36.3 tons per automobile, but it would also carry commuters weighing 47.3 tons. The state council had to pay $185,000 to make up for the tragically lost lives, as well as $2 million in repairs due to the bridge taking on more load and an engineering issue revealed in some joints after an examination. Later, it was also found that a few repairs and planned maintenance tasks were not completed. Number 4. The Sydney Opera House. The Sydney Opera House is well loved all over the world. Yet, despite how it may appear, it is considered one of the worst design and building undertakings in history. The construction was intended to be finished in 4 years at a budget of $7 million Australian, but it took 14 years and cost $14 million Australian in total. Additionally, due to acoustical issues and poor planning, the Opera House ended up being a place where the musicians could not hear their music. A further significant price of around $300 million Australian was incurred to correct the acoustics, since the Opera House and the stage production halls were accidentally exchanged and housed incorrectly. Number 3. The Walkie Talkie turned Walkie Scorchy. Due to its peculiar design, the commercial building at 20 Fenchurch Street in London has earned the moniker the Walkie Talkie. The pricey building, which was finished in 2014 and cost over £200 million, turned out to be a costly construction error. Due to the glass front of the building and its radian, it reflected sunlight onto the street in front of it for nearly 2 hours each day. There have been complaints of cracked tiles, burned carpets, melting paint, and even cars due to the intense heat of roughly 72 degrees Celsius. The tower acquired a new moniker as a result of these events, the Walkie Scorchy. To prevent glare, sunscreen was applied to its curved face, but correcting this design error cost roughly £10 million. Number 2. The Aeon Center. One of Chicago's tallest buildings today is the Aeon Center, which was erected in 1974 and was once known as the Amoco Building. The building was at first a wonder of architecture in the city, a straightforward steel frame with a rectangular shape. Its coating with Carrara marble, which was transported from Tuscany and made it the largest marble-clad building in the world, is what made it distinctive. But because the material was so thin, this lovely and distinctive feature of the building front started to develop many fissures, causing portions of the slab to separate and fall to the ground below as well. Due to this, the building underwent renovation in the 1990s, and the marble was replaced with granite, which was more appropriate but came at a very high cost. The building blunder ultimately cost a staggering $80 million. Number 1. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. Even with its peculiar tilt, this is the kind of construction error that I enjoy seeing. The cause for the tilt is clear. The soil on the construction site was too soft to support such a large construction. For this reason, the tower's foundations appear to be rather unstable. The tower isn't leaning, Instead, it's falling very slowly, and has been doing so since 1178, and each year it gets 1 to 2 millimeters closer to the ground. Historians claim it was obvious the tower would lean when the builders reached the third story, but they didn't pay much attention to it and continued their work. Of all the mistakes in construction on this list, this is the only one that didn't cost any extra money, but instead brought in a lot more money as a result of the mistake. That's all there is for today, so if you're satisfied with your interest, please like and share the video with your friends. If you want to see more, simply click the subscribe button. Don't forget to click the bell to be notified every time a new video is added.